For decades, traditional television held an absolute monopoly on fame. If a celebrity had a movie to promote, an album to drop, or a public image to salvage, there was only one path to take. They had to sit on a velvet couch beneath studio lights and answer carefully pre-approved questions. For the networks, this formula was a goldmine, generating millions of dollars in ad revenue and pulling in loyal audiences night after night. But beneath the polished surfaces and the rehearsed laughter, the ground was quietly shifting. The traditional talk show format wasn't just losing viewers, it was becoming obsolete in a world that was learning to demand something entirely different. But to understand how this massive empire began to crumble, we have to look back at the era when these hosts held total control over who succeeded and who vanished. During the peak era of broadcasting, late-night and daytime hosts were the ultimate gatekeepers of pop culture. A single appearance on a major network show could transform an unknown comedian into an overnight sensation or rescue a fading star's career. Because the stakes were incredibly high, the environments behind these closed studio doors were notoriously intense. Producers, writers, and hosts operated under immense pressure to maintain flawless ratings. On-screen, everything appeared warm, spontaneous, and friendly. Off-screen, however, it was a highly corporate machine where every second was calculated, every joke was focus grouped, and guests were expected to play a specific, highly manicured role. This strict control worked perfectly for a time, but everything changed when a new platform emerged that didn't care about network schedules or executive approvals. By the mid-2010s, the rise of online video platforms completely disrupted the traditional viewing habit. Audiences, especially younger demographics, stopped tuning in at a specific hour to watch a full 60-minute broadcast. They wanted entertainment instantly, on their own terms. Realizing they were losing their grip, network producers panicked and radically altered the format of the classic talk show. Instead of focusing on deep, engaging conversations, shows were suddenly redesigned to generate short, bite-sized viral clips. The priority shifted to celebrity games, lip-sync battles, and carpool sing-alongs, segments engineered specifically to feed social media algorithms the next morning. While this strategy successfully racked up millions of online views, it ultimately backfired by stripping the medium of the one thing that made it unique. As talk shows transformed into automated promotional factories, viewers began to notice a profound lack of authenticity. The forced enthusiasm and corporate gloss started to feel disingenuous to an audience growing accustomed to raw, unedited content online. Furthermore, the internet gave viewers the power to archive, analyze, and revisit old broadcasts. Moments that passed without a thought in the 1990s or 2000s were suddenly being re-examined through a modern lens. Audiences began to spot the subtle discomfort of guests, the rigidity of the interactions, and the sharp contrast between a host's public persona and the reality of the production. The illusion of the perfect, happy television family was breaking down, and a massive cultural alternative was waiting in the wings to take its place. As traditional television ratings continued to slide, independent creators and long-form podcasters stepped into the vacuum. They offered something traditional networks simply couldn't provide: unrestricted time and genuine freedom. On a podcast, an interview isn't restricted by a strict 7-minute commercial block, and guests aren't forced to stick to a rigid public relations script. Celebrities and public figures realized they could sit down in a casual studio, speak freely for 2 or 3 hours, and connect with millions of listeners on a deeply personal level. For the first time in media history, the middleman was eliminated, leaving traditional networks scrambling to prove why their expensive studios and corporate restrictions were even necessary. The landscape of modern entertainment has fundamentally transformed, moving away from the bright studio lights of Hollywood and into decentralized, independent spaces. The traditional talk show format, once the undisputed king of media, now finds itself fighting for relevance in a digital world that values transparency over slick production values. While television networks continue to look for ways to adapt, the balance of power has permanently shifted toward the creators who understand that modern audiences can spot a script from a mile away. The era of the managed celebrity interview is coming to an end, leaving us to wonder, what will the next generation of entertainment look like when the traditional couch is gone for good?